Alright, y'all, this is your boy Solo, and we're back here with another episode of Enlightenment. And this episode is going to be about how to look at dimensions. And, a lot of people have their own misconception of how dimensions are. They might think it's pocket portals, something that's like something that you can enter through and go into a different reality in your physical form, when that's not the actual case. So dimensions work simultaneously when it comes to frequency and vibration, and there's different layers of realities within realities. And at the moment we are experiencing our physical existence within this frequency vibration reality. So this is what we're resonating at the moment, based on our awareness and how we're traveling as spirits. And we're creating the stimuli as we go. And this is how we are evolving. But at the same time, this is also physical hell, because we are making ourselves into the stimuli without knowing. But there is no right or wrong in this universe reality. But at the same time, there are more heavenly, lighter forms that we can take. And this physical shit ain't shit compared to the other physical forms, other existences that we can take. So we are spirits and bodies. Our spirit has nothing to do with physicality. It takes shape and form based on how our mind experiences reality. Like, the spirit creates a mind, an intelligence, and through that awareness alone is how it's navigating. So since we are already born within, after the fact of Earth, but it's really another being that we are inside of. And I'm not going to explain that mechanism again, because you can watch my other videos. I already explained it, and how God created everything, and we're doing the same mechanisms as God, just inside of it. And it's taking physicality. So when it comes to science, talking about the first dimension, second dimension, you need to look at the first dimension as a point of reference. They say it's a point of reference in the beginning of something. And this is what it means to see the first dimension. And by the way, shout out to Dolo the Pilot Man, Archangel Uriel. That's a real warrior and a teacher. And he helped a lot of people. So when we look at first dimension, it's singular, it's one directional. And the best way to see that is when you close your eyes and you're just in the self. You're just, and you're not thinking about something else. You're not aware of anything else. You're just singular, consciously within yourself. It's the same way when you're in a dream and you're navigating through the dream, and that consciousness is floating in your dream. That's you in your dream. You're doing the same thing. It's like astral projecting. You're doing the same thing right now, even if you're awake. It's just gonna be, you're gonna be less aware of it. But when you're in your dream, you're floating, and that's your awareness. It's singular. Like, you could create anything in your dream. And you not might be aware this is what you're doing, but as a spirit, that's the spiritual space that you're in. And you're creating your circumstance as a spirit, whether that's a good dream or a nightmare. So that's first dimension. That's the first aspect before it becomes that's the aspect before it becomes physical. The reality, the dream world is a reality before it becomes physical. So when you're in that awareness, first singular awareness, the first dimension, now once you become aware of something outside of you, that's second dimensional. Whether that's another spirit or you realize that you are leaving a trail behind yourself. Like, for example, let's say you're singular minded, which is first dimensional. You're just navigating and you're not aware of anything else. That's now once you become of your own self, that also becomes second dimensional because you are aware of your old self. You have many versions of you. And those are outdated versions of you. Those are the spirits that you used to be, but they are still part of you. So spirits can still inhabit those moments and trails of you. And spirits can jump into those type of mentalities. So this is how we are creating our reality. Everybody is expanding and spirits are jumping into, what you're leaving behind. It's like like I said, it's expansion, growing, and the spirits that are lesser behind you are still growing to catch up. Just like you have, blood cells inside of you. They're evolving to become bigger and, just like how you are, and expanding. So that's the best explanation to look at second dimensional. Now, once it does that many other times, it becomes third dimensional and it becomes dense. And this is how we got our physical reality. So first dimensional will be singular, point of reference, becoming aware of just, one directional awareness. I'm trying to explain it the best way I can, but that's when you're not aware of anything else. You're just being aware and existing. And this is what all species are doing, whether they realize it or not. So this is what you're doing in your dream. Like, literally, you could astral project, you could meditate, and you can, just be in that self-awareness, which is first dimensional. So now once you start of being aware that there's something outside of you, okay, I am no longer alone. There's now duality, aka two sides of a coin. Now, that becomes a relation within something outside of you or a relation within yourself, which is the same thing because it became another person. So this is a creation of God creating itself, and lesser spirits traveling, towards it. It's like following it. So I also want to explain this. So it takes two spirits to create another one. Two minds to create another mind. And we see this physically through sexual reproduction. Mom and dad creates another spirit. But in the spiritual aspect, everything is doing this simultaneously. So you have to look at your mind as masculine and your emotions, which is your feelings, which is internalizing. That's the feminine aspect. Once you externalize an idea, a concept, that automatically internalizes and it becomes inward, it becomes feminine. And once it becomes inward, it does a cycle, it's a wheel, and it becomes, it starts spinning and it becomes dense, and now it becomes physical. So this is a basic understanding of spiritual science that people need to understand, because this will change everything. And the lack of understanding is the perish of humanity. Without knowledge, humanity shall perish. And people are just lost in the physical realm and not understanding the basic. So basic, bruh. And that develops the morality to proceed and navigate through existence. That's it. It's just that simple. And God is leaving messages here for people in forms of astrology, spirituality, that inner voice that people do not want to tap into or are just too afraid. You don't be afraid, because that's what you need to do. I can't say that, it's not common sense to be aware of something like that, but there's people like us telling individuals every day to, find a deeper meaning. But, people just want to get lost in their own biases and be narcs. But yeah, dimensions is what we're doing simultaneously. So we are already aware of the self. We are already doing that. We are also relating within ourselves and others outside of ourselves in the physical realm. And we are existing in 3D. And, it goes more beyond that. And I'm not going to explain the other dimensions, because I don't want to feel like I'm regurgitating from somebody else, and that's not what it's going to be. I just want to explain the basic. If you want to learn about the other dimensions, look up Dolo the Pilot Man, Archangel Uriel, and he will give you the best explanation. And I'm going to just leave it at that. Peace.